Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be doing a reaction video, which normally I hate, but I really like 3 Days Grace, or at least I really liked Adam Gontier back then, you know, that type of 3 Days Grace. And then I was okay with the Matt Walst, I believe it is. It's Matt or Brad, one of them's the bassist. And now there's the 3 Days Grace where the two singers have come together, but I was not super impressed with Mayday, actually. I thought that it went in a very poppy direction, and as you can see here, it says that I've watched the whole video of this. I only watched the first few seconds, and based off of what I heard, it did not go in a much better direction for, you know, personal tastes, unfortunately. And I noticed that for the past few months, they had been changing the album covers. They changed them back, I guess, since this just got released, but they were changing all of these guys on all of these album covers to these guys, those little stick guys on that album, which was, they were freaking gaslighting me because I hadn't been subtly noticing it on this one because their first self-titled album was my favorite, and it was a bit harder to notice on there, but then it was very obvious on this one, and then eventually they changed the 1X album, and then that's super obvious as well, even though they're already stick people. Anyway.
When every thought says jump, when every thought says just give up, how else can I survive another day of being alive? Caffeine, nicotine, amphetamines running through my bloodstream. Trauma.
It's so close to like so many other pop songs, which is really unfortunate. If it doesn't have like a really good chorus, that's, you know, I don't know. It's just not. It's gonna be big oof, I guess. Okay, so there wasn't much to say throughout the video, unfortunately. So it was all done very well. The singing was still very good, of course, from both parties, both of the singers. But unfortunately, it's still not like, when I heard that the two singers were gonna come together, I was like, oh, dude. And I was expecting a kind of mixture of maybe like 1X and Human, or yeah, I think it's called Human. But we got Mayday, which was still heavier than this song. I don't know if there's gonna be a full album, because I was really expecting there to be more to come out after Mayday came out. I didn't get to see the shows, unfortunately, when they were touring before, and I still don't think I will be able to now, which is really unfortunate. But I don't know what they were doing for their shows with the two singers. I don't know if they were doing old songs with just Adam, or if they were doing the newer songs with just Matt, or if they were doing a combination of the both. I don't know. Unfortunately, like I said, this just it's very poppy. And it's, I don't know, because I'm like not even opposed to just, I don't know if it's that I don't really fully relate to the song, because I don't bother with alcohol, drugs, and all of that shit, but even the instrumentals weren't enough to suck me in either, because I'm not even opposed to alternative things from 3 Days Grace, because some of my favorite stuff are some of the lighter stuff from like Life Starts Now, or some of the different stuff from Transit to Venus, but it all seemed to come back home, and this just seems to be a far departure, if you ask me. I don't know, it's really hard to describe for me. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's really hard for me to put into words how I feel about this, because I don't even just want to be negative about it, but it didn't. I was really excited, but this did not have the payoff that I was expecting, if that makes sense. But of course, if you go down to the comments, it's always just support for the band. I'm like, whenever I look at these things, I was kind of hoping that like someone else would be like, yeah, but it's not what I was expecting. I was hoping that some people would have the same feelings, but you know, this is all we get is these kinds of freaking comments. Also, someone else did notice the album covers. I didn't know if I was just going crazy or not. The 1X album will be 20 years old next year. Real. I'm 22 years old. That's wild. I'll be 23 then. Both vocalists from the band. Something special. You know you love it before you even hear it's from these guys. Another hit from Neil, Brad, Barry, Adam, and Matt Chu. With his awesome blonde hair. Oh, I guess it's like a Pikachu thing? I don't listen to 3 Days Grace much anymore, but I do think it's pretty dope that the second singer is sticking around, even with Adam Gontier now being a part of the band again. I love the voices together. Thanks for not using AI in the video art. Can't wait for the new album. So apparently there is supposed to be an album. I don't keep up with news much, and I don't have time to. Also, this is an official artist, I guess. Fuck, this is perfect. Unfortunately, I do disagree, but what do I know? I'm 24, and honestly, a big part of me wants to cry to this. Obviously, the lyrics, but this brings me back to being a little kid and listening to 3 Days Grace, who were always my favorite band. It makes me feel 7 years old again. I mean, honestly, same, but I don't have this reaction from this song. It's not that I want to hear the same thing over and over again, but it just sounds like a pop song to me with distorted guitars in the chorus. And which I know that rock music takes roots in blues, pop, and just about every other genre, but I don't know. I just really hate when a thing that I really hate is when music takes too heavy roots from rap and they start using that shitty 808 beat or whatever with the some shit like that. It's such an annoying beat because it's used everywhere and it's never fucking creative and it's so basic. And let me try and listen to the drums here on this one. So the drums aren't 808 beats, it is real drums, but it is a basic 16 time beat maybe. So it's on the order, which, you know, obviously you can use the beat, but it's so hard for me to justify my position because I know that everyone is just gonna be like, you're fucking retarded and you don't know what the fuck you're saying. I'm recording this after while I'm editing the original video, but I think what really kind of gets to me is when there's absolutely no criticism for people. It's kind of annoying when you just see blind followers of anyone. Now, whether it is blind following or people honestly do like it, but also they might be listening to other genres and actually do like it, I think that obviously you don't want to live with zero criticism because then you're not going to evolve. Well, that's not... I'm trying to think of exactly why that is the case. It's mainly because you can't evolve in the right way, because obviously this isn't the same thing, but it's different in a way that I don't think is actually right in the continuity of the band, I guess, maybe. Because I even mentioned, like, some of the more alternative stuff from Life Starts Now and Transit to Venus, but all of that still sounded like 3 Days Grace. This does not. And I get into it a little bit better on why I think this sounds so different, really, a little bit later. But, yeah, I wanted to clarify that is that I'm not against people praising the band and enjoying the band and liking what they've done, but at the same time, when it's all that I see is praise, especially when I have a differing opinion somehow, I'm like, how? I don't understand how I can be the only person who feels this way. I have to record another punch in here because I just realized that I said, you know, you have to fit into a continuity in your music, which I watched a Linkin Park documentary back when Chester was alive. I think it was in Minutes to Midnight, or maybe the album after, they were working with Rick Rubin, and they were worried about, like, does this sound like Linkin Park? I think it was their third album, so I think it was Minutes to Midnight. And they were worried about sounding like Linkin Park. But Rick Rubin told them to not worry about that. It doesn't matter what Linkin Park sounds like, it matters what, is in your soul or whatever, something like that, which to a certain extent I agree with, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know. There is a possibility that this song is an outlier in the album, where the rest of the album will sound, more to my taste, I guess, which is this the biggest problem, is that it all comes down to opinion. But another great example, I think, is Skillet, the Christian rock band Skillet. They made predominantly rock music. However, they had this phase where they were shifting and they were trying to figure out what they really were like. I don't know what album came before Alien Youth, but Alien Youth took a huge change from what I remember and understand, because they went to a very techno stage. They had a lot more electronic music influences in that, but they still had enough guitar and rock and real drums that it still felt really good. It wasn't just electronic music, and it didn't feel like it was just another genre other than rock and metal. It felt like it was a new metal, NU metal, where it was a combination. And that's where I don't like certain songs like this, where it feels like it's just a pop song and happens to have distorted guitars. Or like other more modern rock songs, they just sound like a rap song with distorted guitars. Or I even hear this Korn song that comes on from the 2010s, 2000s to 2010s, I think. Maybe it's 2010s to 2020s, I don't know. But it's literally just a dubstep song with the Korn guy singing over it. Yet it is a official Korn song. It's not, at least I'm pretty sure, it's not even a collaboration. It was just them, but it didn't sound like Korn at all, other than having the guys singing, which I don't even actually like either. But that's another example. So I hope that kind of makes sense, and and it has helped actually justify my position, and I'm not just someone being a hater just shitting on 3 Days Grace, because obviously I love 3 Days Grace. So, I hate the internet, and so I always have to try and combat all of the shitty comments, if there's even going to be any. And while I don't know how to put in words what I feel, I know what I am saying is somewhat true, at least. It may be a nice experience to hear this song in concert, to get that full blast from the chorus, but like I said, I'm not feeling it. I think that what I really don't like is the pacing of the vocals, because I like the vocals a lot in songs, but the pacing has that sort of pop rap style pacing, especially where there's a part where Adam comes in here and he does the never enough, yeah. He does that, yeah. And that really got me the first time I think I heard it. Let me see if I can find it. No, because it feels like they would have in any other 3 Days Grace album, maybe even in the time at Mayday, the pacing would have been so much more different, and they would have slowed down these verses, and then they would have maybe, instead of doing the no, they would have done like a carried out no that would have been like this awesome like melodic thing, or maybe he would have done his Adam Gantier's signature like octave thing, which he kind of does towards the end of the song here, I think. It's a little more into it there. It's closer. It's grittier singing. Right there. That is why I love the way Adam Gontier sings is that freaking higher pitched grit octave thing. So good, but there isn't much of that in this song either, and there's just not enough for me to latch on to. I don't think so. I don't think. And also in the past 15 minutes that I've been watching this thing has gained 3,000 views within 2 hours of being uploaded, so that's cool. Anyway, I'm just hoping that the album will have some other songs that, because I usually actually lately I've been feeling that a lot of the, well, it's been this way for a long time, but a lot of times the album songs are better than the singles, which unfortunately that's the way that I'm really hoping at this point. So I know there's going to be a lot of differing opinions from mine, but please, for the love of God, let me know if you feel the same, because it's just, every time something like this happens, like when the Linkin Park girl singer came on, everyone was like, oh my god, she's so good. I'm like, she just sounds like every other girl singer, sorry to say it, at least in metal right now, at least that are mainstream that I've heard on the radio. She just sounds like Hailstorm. And of course, no one, as far as I've seen, feels the same. So let me know what you think in the comments. This isn't what I normally do, but I do talk about music gear. I play guitar. I haven't made any videos about singing, but I also sing in my own time, but I never feel confident enough to post that. I also play drums, bass, and I do 3D printing stuff a lot, and then I just do whatever I want. So, like today. If any of that sounds good, please consider subscribing. That's all I have to say for now. So I'm going to say bye-bye.